Alright. Alright, everyone. Some real fucking talk right now. I don't give a fucking shit who wins the races. When you go nearly 150 miles single file, and the only pass this entire time is for the lead because the leader picked up debris and needed to get that wiped off. Some real fucking talk here. When that is the extent of the racing, in the event that doesn't have the best Daytona car in it, something's got to change. Okay? Now, I'm most excited this year for Atlanta. And why do I say that? It's because we've got a brand new package coming in that should revolutionize the way that racing has been and hopefully bring it back to a style that we haven't seen for a good at least 3 years now. We've got Atlanta coming up. Should be a pretty good race. We got the most prestigious event on the entire schedule. First things first. The Unlimited was good. I don't know what the fuck changed from the Unlimited to literally 10 minutes ago. Wow. Wow. That was the absolute worst thing I've ever seen. Let me put this into perspective. I wait every winter for nearly 3 months, dying of anticipation, choking from intoxication, standing behind these empty walls, waiting for the godforsaken NASCAR season to come back. Today, I watched every single practice. I watched nearly all of the race hub coverage, except for at 4 o'clock when the Amazing World of Gumball was on. I skipped that race hub, but as far as everything else is concerned, the first Sprint Cup practice, the race hub after that, the next Sprint Cup practice, then the 2 truck practices, I watched every second. Because I am excited to see racing again. After that first duel, I was like, oh, it doesn't get much worse than that. Holy shit, was I in for a surprise with that second duel. Whoo, doggy. After 5 laps, I changed the channel to MSNBC to watch the Democratic Town Hall. Because that race that just ended was by far, the worst race that I've ever seen. That I have ever seen. And I watched Michigan last year. Believe me, I've seen some shit. That was terrible. Single file racing. The entire pack deep. The entire pack. Single file. Yep. Just hanging out here. Nope. Don't need to do any racing. Nope, that's not important. This needs to change. I've put up with it. Back when Jimmy Johnson was dominating the plate tracks in 2013 to about halfway through 2014, I put up with it, while Dale Earnhardt Jr. led every race effortlessly, without anyone trying to beat him. I put up with it when Joey Logano won the Daytona 500. It's time to change. We had an excellent system with tandem drafting. Tandem drafting. What is it, you may ask? It's when two cars must link together and use the power of bump drafting to race at restrictor plate tracks. And not very many people liked it. I don't know if this had anything to do with the fact that Dale Earnhardt Jr. never won a restrictor plate race while tandem drafting was a thing. But let's not speculate. Let's just go off with what we know. What we know is that Trevor Bayne won the Daytona 500 via tandem drafting. David Reagan won later that same year. But it's not just for the underdogs. Lest we forget, Jimmy Johnson won in one of the most spectacular finishes. And that finish did not even require a green-white checkered. I am talking, of course, of 2011 Talladega. When he went 4 wide, 8 cars under a blanket for the win. And he pulled it off by, what was it? 2 1,000ths of a second? We are living in an era where cars must be... Let me show you. Actually, no, it's more like this because Martin Truex Jr. can never win. For upwards of 3 hours. If you ever get the chance, I would like you to rewatch the 2011 Daytona 500. It is on YouTube, the full race. And I want you to compare that to not only what we saw tonight, but the final laps of a lot of recent restrictor plate races. And I want you to objectively look at it. I don't want you to look at it through the lens of a Dale Earnhardt Jr. fan, and I don't want you to look at it through the lens of a Dale Earnhardt Jr. hater. I want you to look at it objectively as a racing fan and tell me which one of those 2 races. I would even give you the most exciting of the most recent restrictor plate races. And I would say, take a look at the 2015 Coke 0400. Compare it side by side with the 2011 Daytona 500. And look at it objectively. And I want you to tell me whether or not I'm correct in saying that we are in dire need of something to change. NASCAR did the right thing with the low downforce package. They did the right thing. They haven't done much else right, but they did that right. And I will give that to them. Now it is time for them to pull through again. We may never get back the type of pack racing that we saw in years like 2007 or 2003. We may never get that back. What we can get back, though, is what was created from these new cars. This gen... Was it gens? The COTs. The cars that we're running now are closer to the COTs than they are the cars from the past. And what the COT brought about was tandem drafting. Tandem drafting needs to come back. Otherwise, we're in for more of what you saw tonight. I'm not kidding when I say that was the worst race that I have ever seen. Ever. And it's only going to get worse. It's only going to get worse. Unless we can go back to tandem drafting. I'm not saying this as a fan of Martin Truex Jr. I'm not saying this as a hater of Dale Earnhardt Jr. I am saying this as a racing fan. We need tandem drafting to return to restricted plate tracks. Because even I could not watch that. And I love NASCAR. And I could not watch that. Please, Brian France. I'm on my knees. Please do it for the fans. Do it for the fans, Brian. Do it for the fans. That's all I gotta say. Done. Fuck you.